The camera's hot now.
Camera's hot.
Hi. Don't burn your fingers.
The camera was not hot before.
Oh.
It's only looks good now.
We put googly eyes and eyelashes on it.
Exactly.
It's hot.
Back in my day.
I will say, I do appreciate the videos of just like random videos of stuff happening, and then they add like the little face and arms to it. Like, those are the best.
I agree. Hondo P. Good memes.
Look at these memes. Memes. Oh my gosh, that was Chloe's homework over the weekend. Is she had to make a chemistry meme about lab safety.
That's so good.
And like Ashley's mom was all like, I don't understand why would you have to do these things as homework? I'm like, the teacher's trying to relate.
Yeah.
Yep. They're trying to make people interested.
If the teacher like looked up some article like how to relate to teens.
No.
And it's like have your
think about it. The teacher is probably our
in their
age.
20s. Yeah.
No, I'm just
one of our teachers made us do make a podcast once.
No, that was recording. That's great.
Yep.
One of our teachers made us do make a podcast.
Yeah.
it would have been left.
As it now realizes what she said.
It would have been
But-
left.
Yeah, 100%. No.
No, it would have been McDonough.
Probably either.
Either. All right, go ahead.
I was just going to say, making a podcast is a lot of work. And I'm sure none of our podcasts were good.
No.
If you only knew how much effort
seventh
making a podcast is.
grade? Yes, in 7th grade in Junction City Middle School in Junction City, Kansas.
You had to make a train.
We had to make we were in like a science and technology class. There was a lot of stuff going. I did it 2 years in a row. First year we were like doing simple soldering and making like little robot and
Noise.
some CAD drawing. Like I didn't get to do that one. I was kind of mad at that one because that looked freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't do the CAD drawing. Like you make the bridge out of the balsa wood and all that kind of. But in the second year, my friend and I, we didn't do it live during the class.
Totally just pinched my hand there.
Ow.
But for the 1 week, we had to like make a radio broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I'm sitting at home, like listening to.
Is this where hat penis came from?
No, that was.
I know. I was
senior year.
You bring it up like every other show, so I had to.
No, I don't. I bring it up like every 4 shows. Shut up.
That's just you learned how to put condoms on.
No,
That's what
that's
that
a different thing.
sounds
I'll tell
like.
you know this story.
Probably.
You'll need a refresher. But yeah, so I'm sitting like at my boombox with the CD player and dual cassette.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Having to like record songs off the radio.
That's called a 90s TiVo right there.
Right? Just sitting there like, all right, and the song starts now. Okay. And it ended. But I ended it like 4 seconds late, so the announcer was there, so we're going to have to try to trim that off a little bit. Yeah, it was. And using the little dial, we're like, all right, so this song lasted this long, so we need to have this long of a gap in the thing so we can record into it. Yeah, we were trying.
That's awesome. Were you proud of your accomplishment?
I was very proud of what we did. And then the teacher, because like he gave us our grade and everything, and then to reset the materials, had like one of those magnets you would tie a string to like drop in water to find your keys. Just grabbed the tape and went. And I was like, you don't even like save it for posterity? All right.
Let me
whatever.
keep it. Aw.
I put effort into that.
Back in my day, we slammed rocks together to make music. And it was great. Where do you think rock and roll came from? When the rocks smashed too much, they'd roll away.
There we go.
Nice.
Chris is drunk.
You drunk? Go home.
I'll have one. What are you having?
Back in my day, we only got drunk when Jesus turned the water to wine.
Jesus. You're going to hate that later when it's in your ears and you're editing. Sorry.
No, because I'll just cut before this.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was
like
just
he knows where
imagining
it
that
is.
sound wasn't fun to
Copy,
listen to.
delete.
So what are we doing today?
All right, are we ready to get started?
That's
I
right.
am.
We don't have like intro music or anything.
Well, I'll still say
Okay.
something. Anyways. All right, we'll start in 3, 2, 1. This broadcast is brought to you with limited commercial interruption by Patreon. Go to patreon.com/boards and swords to find out more. Welcome to the Dirtbags of Holding, episode 141.
Woohoo!
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Dirtbags of Holding. This is an RPG show where we talk and play the best RPGs in the worst way possible. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Chris.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Philip.
I'm Jimmy.
My name's King Corey, and I am in charge of this place.
Nice.
All right.
Dang, nice.
My wife may differ on that, but okay.
Okay.
Unless you're define the
I'm
word
sorry,
place.
you're who?
I'm not going to fight your wife.
You're supposed to say, my wife.
My
wife.
Okay.
Depends on your definition of place. If your place is talking about the virtual space that exists our podcast, okay, sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'm king of that.
All right.
I'm curious that place.
So
What are we talking about
I don't get it.
today?
I don't have to do a last name since Chris Nichols not here.
No.
That's
right.
right. That's right.
But
Good
hopefully you'll
riddance.
be.
I don't have
Just
to do,
kidding.
I don't have to
He
do a
might
last
be
name
on.
'cause
He could be
Yeah.
watching this.
Also, identity theft is a real threat, Jim. Anyway.
Millions of families, sir.
Okay.
It's a-
Affected every year.
Yeah,
okay.
I figured. Anyways, so the previous episode will have been talking about Gen Con, and it's finally coming out.
Woohoo.
I'm just moving the dates to Thursdays when new episodes come out. So
That's
bit of
cute.
news if you see things on Thursday. It's because I have stuff coming out every other day of the week.
Oh.
Thursday's a good day.
Because Mondays is when I try and get the Boards and Swords show out. Tuesdays and Fridays is when I have new vlog posts up on YouTube. Wednesdays are streaming days, so that left Thursday.
Thursday's a good day.
And what's that YouTube channel called again? That you
YouTube.com/Boards and Swords.
That you release content on, was it every day?
No, 3 times a week.
Oh, disappointing. Only 3 times a
Only
week.
3 times a week
Very disappointed.
at my
Okay.
best.
Well, we can all try. That's all we
Okay.
can do.
Thursday's the day Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, which is a wonderful podcast, comes out. So we're in good company. Anyone else have a Thursday podcast?
Actually, no. Most of my
Thursday.
podcasts are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Also good days.
Same.
Yeah,
it's
it
all
seems
Monday,
like
Tuesdays,
nobody
and
does a
Wednesdays.
Thursday, Friday podcast. You're looking forward to the weekend at that point.
Trying to think if there's any Tuesday podcasts. That,
I have a lot of board games
Off
do like
book.
the every other
Oh.
Tuesday. So, Gen Con's over, so now we're talking about Gen Con 2020,
Boo.
right?
That's
Yay!
right.
That's
already,
right. The
already
countdown.
saving up all that money and plotting.
Yeah.
All right, where are we going to be that Sunday when hotel registration opens?
So-
where are
so-
we going to be?
By the
Hi,
way,
Jason.
Jason's in the chat room, says hi. Question for you, and this is a comment out there, is looking forward to next conventions like PAX Unplugged going to.
that's in Philly.
Yeah,
I like that place. We gonna go there?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I got a hotel room.
Oh, okay.
But FFG's also looking for GMs
When
too.
is it?
December?
December, the second weekend, I think, in December.
The second
That's my
weekend.
birthday weekend.
Is
Well,
it?
there we go.
Yeah.
It'll be like this whole
So we
convention
can
for
treat
you.
you to a nice birthday in Philly.
Ooh.
There you go.
We'll buy you cheesesteaks.
Oh man.
And
I'm
she
just
won't
gonna
eat them,
have
though.
bread with cheese.
Yeah,
And
I
onions.
realized that as I said it. I
Wait,
was
they-
like, oh
Any
wait.
onions and green peppers.
Yeah, I
Did
mean
they-
it's
Oh,
not
excuse me. It's
terrible.
the 5th. The actual convention is the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
It's
Oh.
before my birthday. I don't get
You
cheese
don't,
sticks.
you don't own it.
No. Like we in this household, we have
Yeah.
birthday months.
hold on.
I
Do
love a
you-
birthday month.
Do you own the weekend before and after your birthday?
No, I normally only own the birthday week, like the week of my birthday, because that's normally when
okay.
Star Wars come out.
I just want to say it's your damn birthday. You get to own whatever you want. It's up to other
Yeah.
people whether they choose to acknowledge it and actually.
Well,
Actually, that's more on Jimmy than
this
anybody
is
else.
my birthday
Right.
year, so
That's true.
Could they do like an impossible steak?
Probably. I got chorizo crumbles in my fridge
Probably
right now that
anything.
are.
Or we just get a
fake.
Whopper and mash it up and
it's
just
the
use
future.
Yeah.
that. The
Oh,
Impossible
yeah.
Whopper.
Oh my gosh, we go to Burger
Did you
King.
ever try that?
Yeah, I haven't tried it at Burger King, but I tried.
I think
it
for
at other
context, we
places.
need to say that
I
Corey's
don't
vegetarian.
Eat the cow meat, or the chicken meat,
chicken meat,
or
or
the
the
flesh.
lobster meat,
Or the bacon.
or the fish
or
meat.
the bacon.
Yes, any meat.
Yeah.
Any-
I would say that I'm not opposed to not eating meat. I just need fake meat to taste more like real meat.
Yeah,
I am all in for the reasons to
Eat less meat.
the ecological reasons for eating less meat.
which is why he doesn't really eat meat.
That's right.
We could all be an loving
I don't
group.
know. I really like my pork chops at Texas Roadhouse.
Well, so
Those
say,
things are
like-
thick and
Well,
Yeah.
he like Jimmy's like, I don't eat meat at home, but if there's fish tacos on a menu, I'm getting fish tacos. I'm
There
a
you
simple
go.
man.
So you can eat a lot less meat by just eating meat when
And
like,
also,
when you go out.
I
you
would
know?
think eating seafood is probably more eco-friendly than I don't know about the than like all the waste that we put into the air with cows.
I don't know.
Farming cows.
My reaction is to think the same, but I'm not
Like I'm sure it's still bad. Like I'm sure if somebody did the math, it'll be
Yeah.
like it's still bad because the boats are putting out, they're using gas and blah blah blah.
Well, and a lot of the like netting
Yeah.
issues are not great.
And there's the whole like overfishing so that
Yeah.
species go extinct.
Yeah.
Also, like most of your tuna isn't really tuna; it's mostly catfish.
Yeah.
Because
Is that true?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was the FDA did a study a couple years ago where they
Well, it's
did DNA
delicious.
testing on a bunch of
Oh,
store
I love
brand stuff.
catfish. then.
Yep.
I love tuna, catfish, whatever.
Jason laughed at the fact that you were going to buy more than one cheesesteak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Food is good, and if it's free, no, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't make you guys buy me 6 cheesesteaks.
6 cheesesteaks, please.
Hello. Actually, could
Yes,
you just
please.
get one of those like French fry containers and fill it with cheese? The Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Cheesa. I'm pretty sure that joke's been made before.
100%. We should probably go to
Why
PAX
are we
Unplugged, though.
wearing gloves?
That's a good movie.
But yeah, you guys should come to Philly.
Tell
For
me more
PAX
about
Unplugged.
this PAX Unplugged. I've never
PAX
been.
Unplugged. You never been? It's like PAX, but it's unplugged.
Also never been there.
Got it.
So it's like Gen Con, but smaller.
But
Heard
smaller.
about that.
And how's the format? So I know that the difference that I kind of like to emphasize between PAX and Gen Con is that Gen Con is ticketed and PAX is not.
Ooh, I hate lines.
Like tickets for events, I mean.
So there's not as many events.
Okay.
Keep in mind this is only the third PAX.
Right.
Unplugged.
Yeah, third PAX Unplugged. It's also more board game focused. So it's largely like there's a vendor hall and then there's a huge open play area. So like imagine like the open play area that you would have, except for it doesn't cost a ticket to check out games.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's like just like of the convention center, a third of it is just open play.
Okay.
And you can just rent a game.
Yeah, you just like give them your license and then they scan your badge.
who
one
kind
the
of
two.
organizes? Who provides all the games?
I think PAX takes care of it. I
Okay.
think they've curated their own library.
I love
Interesting.
that. There's some games I want to play.
And then I've never really done much RPGs at PAX Unplugged because I just haven't.
But you
I
said-
played them outside of the convention, like during that weekend, but not affiliated with the convention. People getting like, "Hey, you want to get into a game?" I've done that. But
And you
yeah,
said that FFG needs people.
but
needs
apparently
GMs.
FFG is going to be needing GMs. So if anybody out there's listening, email me, chris@boardsandswords.com. I'll send them some information. But
Chris knows a guy.
yeah, I know a guy. But you guys were talking about the games that they're running basically the games from Gen Con at PAX. So
Okay.
if you ever wanted to be like, well, I could run this better, because I know we talked about that.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you can put your money where your mouth is, or your mouth where your mouth is.
Your mouth where your
Put your
mind
ego
is.
in your mouth.
Yep.
I hate that. I hate that.
Wow,
As soon as I
Put
said
your-
it.
that was so bad.
Spit it out.
Put your actions where your mind is.
Let's move back to the chat. We were talking about small animals killed to keep the farmland free to increase yield. I agree. It's sad.
Very sad.
So
All right.
moving on into other.
On to today's topic.
Well,
On
not
today's
not
top-
yet.
What is
Not
this
yet.
podcast about?
I got a couple other banter subjects here.
Ooh, banter subject.
So something that was announced at Gen Con that we didn't really talk about at all was the Genesis Foundry.
What is that? I don't even know. what that is.
Genesis is Fantasy Flight has basically made a
It is.
bunch of open source information for
Cool.
Genesis, and they've launched an area on Drive-Thru RPG where you can buy and sell user created content for Genesis. And I wanted
Fiasco
to-
has that. I like that.
Yeah, well, D&D has it with the DMs Guild.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places had it. You just hadn't had it yet for Genesis. So technically, up before this point, you could sell if you made custom Genesis stuff, and technically they could sue you because licensing or whatnot. Or there's always that fear, like,
Yeah.
are they going to come after me? Well, now you can follow within their whatever their licensing agreement is, and you can make your own stuff. Because I know we've talked about making games before that, And now, like, you could look online, and somebody may have already done that, and you just have to buy it and support that creator.
I love that.
So, thoughts, opinions?
I want more of it, and I'm into
Well, you're
it.
gonna get it with the hopefully that's the idea, right?
So it's called the Genesis Foundry.
The Genesis Foundry. There'll be
so it's a place where you can sell like an adventure you wrote, or like some maps you made,
Yes.
or some lore that you wrote.
Yes.
All of the above.
Essentially. And is there going to be a team that's sort of like vetting all of this, or
I don't know.
Okay.
I've never submitted stuff through these kind of channels before.
Got it.
So I would imagine usually what it is there's a terms agreement that's like, as long as you stay within these terms, we're fine. And then it's one of those, like, you can submit stuff, and then if something gets somebody flags it, then they'll probably review it and removed.
And I guess you would set a price, and then they would they take Fantasy Flight takes a certain cut to this?
Probably. But you can either set it as free. You can also set as it's the way Drive-Thru RPG works. So it could be free, it could be any price, or you could even set pay what you want.
Right.
Jason wants to know what Genesis is.
Genesis is the generalized version of the RPG system used in the Star Wars games that we like.
And it's our favorite.
So it's the narrative. It's the game system that takes the narrative dice system from the Star Wars FFG games and makes it so you can run it in whatever setting you want.
Yep.
If you saw our streams on when we did the superheroes game, that
So
was
silly.
using the Genesis rules. Hey, that was awesome.
I'm glad you guys had fun.
That was a perfect Dirtbags game.
I did go home and think the ending was terrible, but you know what? Sometimes
I don't remember what the ending was.
Well, that's good because it wasn't great. I'm sorry, everyone who's listening.
They haven't heard. Most of them haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, so pay attention for that great ending.
That's coming soon. I was waiting until we started recording again before I released it.
That game is 100% it's all about the journey, man.
Hey, Philip, what's
Sir.
our motto?
Do we have a motto?
We play the best RPGs.
We play the best RPGs in the worst way possible.
There you go.
Touche. But yes, it is FFG, and they did a great job.
Yes.
I feel like we do that in our normal games too.
Well, yeah. Why do you think I made a podcast?
like when Corey and Chris were DMing D&D, it was like, all right, yeah, all right, Corey's got this great. How do we screw this up?
It wasn't you guys that screwed that one up. That was me at the end. And then both you and other Chris, he who shall not be named, he's not here. You both were like, you could have ended it this way or this way. And I was like, both of those are way better. I just did.
Are you talking about the Genesis game?
Or
are you talking about the D&D
superheroes game?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It's good. Listen to your friends. They'll tell you better ways to end things, and you can do it like that next time.
Yeah, that's one reason why, like, I was glad when I looked on the schedule and it said we had a discussion, because I started planning out the next session for our Ravnica game, and then I got through it, and then I realized there's actually a story before this. Like, I wrote this, and then I was like, this would be better as a part 3, and then
We
I
need
do
a
a part 2 to introduce some,
Yeah, that makes sense.
introduce some plot threads.
Give us some exposition.
Yeah.
I'm reading Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive right now, and the first book is 1,000 pages long, and it is all exposition. I just finished it. I was like, oh, now I know the pre-story. Let me read everything else.
All right, and the last piece of news I have to talk about is this one I'm so excited for. And that is probably, other than Ravnica, which is brand new, my favorite D&D setting is coming to 5th edition. And that is Wizards has announced there's going to be a book called Eberron, Rise from the Last War.
Cool.
It was
the Keith Baker one.
That is the Keith Baker one.
Can we all wear Keith Baker hats when we play for the first time?
So Eberron was so basically in 3.5 D&D, they put out a call. Wizards was like, give us your best pitches. And Eberron was the one they chose. It's basically where I've used steampunk-ish to refer to some games before. Eberron is no shit steampunk, magic-fueled technology, like trains powered by wizardry, basically, like electric train, But like, there's a bunch of big lore involved in Eberron. Like there was like a big, huge explosion that took out like the center of the massive continent. It's just like barren kind of thing. But it's what kickstarted the designer Keith Baker's career, because he designed it.
He's the one who did what do you like? The game that you
Phoenix
like?
Dawn Command.
Phoenix Dawn
Oh,
Command.
okay.
And Illimat.
And
I know
Illimat.
This is his hat.
I'm down for it.
Okay.
What literally when we were at Gen Con, we were like, I wonder if Keith Baker's at the Illumat booth. Oh, yeah,
Yep,
there's his
there's
hat.
So, just their little blip here. This book provides players and dungeon masters everything need. The way it's phrased was weird. Everything they need to play Dungeons and Dragons in Eberron, a war-torn world with magic-fueled technology, airships, lightning trains, where noir-inspired mystery meets swashbuckling adventure. Will Eberron enter a prosperous new age, or will the shadow of war descend once again?
Eberron's definitely one of those games with you can play up intrigue a lot. There's a lot of really interesting political things going on.
I would say to answer that question depends on what game group you're playing with.
Touche. It's real hard to do political stuff.
Oh, no, I was answering the question on the
Oh,
will it prosper or will it descend into war?
Oh,
Well,
Yes.
if you hand it to us, it will.
It wasn't before, but now. Okay. And with that, I'm going to hand it over because Corey came up with our idea for our topic today.
oh, we.
You
Am
did
I in charge
declare-
of this today?
You did
Yes.
declare
Do you want
yourself
to be?
I could
king.
be in charge. I
Yeah,
did.
you did declare yourself king.
Okay. Well, let me
So that
open
was
up
a mistake.
the
That was your first mistake.
my one note, which was my suggestion for what we should do, and it was.
I believe it was on what to bring to the first session.
It was how to ready session 1, how to prepare your players for new roles, how to prepare yourself for the unknown, and how to make everyone want to come back to the table.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to take if anybody's got any better suggestions, but I simplified it to how to make sure you have a session 2.
Yep, I like it. I'm down.
Because how many times have we had an RPG and it just sucked?
Yeah.
And then we're like, we might come back to this game, but we don't.
That could be a one shot.
We had session 0 on what was that, Black Crusade?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
There's
rough.
one, for example.
Didn't we recorded that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It released. I did it as a bonus episode when I needed filler earlier this year.
Okay.
In between recording sessions.
I loved reading the lore and making a character, but I didn't love playing the game.
But we didn't play the game.
Yeah, we didn't play
Yeah.
the game. I did. I
Yeah,
played
Philip
it at
did
Gen Con.
at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Your first? No, second.
It didn't suck.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded interesting hearing other people play it.
Yeah.
Rough times.
So I think
Anyways.
we might have covered several facets of this in our
Sure.
session 0 episode.
Yeah.
Because I think it's vital to have a session 0 such that when you're going into session 1, you are fulfilling the expectations of everybody.
Yeah, but this is more of, okay, now
Yeah.
you've sat down or you're preparing for session 1. You've had we're assuming here that you've taken our advice on a session 0
You picked your game.
and you've
you
picked a
picked your
game,
players.
you've talked with your players, everyone's got characters. What can we do to make sure? I'm going to say right off the bat, go on YouTube and watch somebody else or watch or listen to somebody else playing said game.
100%. Because they're going to come up against some of the issues that you will inevitably come up against. So if you listen to them play for the first time, they're probably going to figure out some of the frequently asked questions that you'll also hit up with.
Yeah.
So listen to a
Or a
podcast or watch a
podcast.
game.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was saying
Yeah.
YouTube just because of the vastness of content, but any podcast that,
very smart.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good, yep. So what should you prepare to bring to the table with you for your players? I was thinking like, if you're going to play a Genesis game, you should have a little note that everyone has that says what each die result means. So like, this is success.
So player
this is a
aids.
failure. Player aids.
like beginner player aids.
And even
Yep.
like a 1-page rule description. And you can find a lot of them online just Googling your RPG. And you don't have to have it for every player. You might want to, but if you don't, just put one out on the table.
Just a cheat sheet.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a sheet. Like I remember, and this kind of feeds into that, like when we first started playing D&D, and I think the board's still there.
The board is
The whiteboard
still-
that has the list of all the actions you can do in combat.
It's
Yeah.
just hiding up in the
It's
corner.
just hiding
Yep.
up in the
Yep.
corner, like stuff like that, where it's just so someone can see, like,
Yeah.
if they're
Oh, yeah, it's like,
brain
what-
farting, what can I do?
what qualifies as an action.
A standard action.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a lot of sense if you're going to be a GM, either have a whiteboard in your room or bring a whiteboard. Jimmy and I got a fancy glass
Yep.
whiteboard for our gaming room. It looks real
Didn't you
sassy,
say you
real
don't?
cute.
Isn't it not very effective though for some things you were drawing? Something you were drawing, and
No, I think it really works.
okay.
I was just saying that I was thinking about putting lights behind it, and I was like, I don't know
Oh,
if that's gonna work.
that's what you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Black lights with neon dry erase markers.
So we have neon dry erase
Oh, there you
markers,
go.
but they don't have like, anyway,
You should
it's
get
great.
a black light in there.
Highly
I saw
suggest.
something really cool. I don't know if I talked about it on here or not, but somebody at my Gen Con game for Mutants and Masterminds / DC Adventures, they had a portable whiteboard. And basically it was a bunch of index cards that was like 24
okay.
index cards laid out that was laminated and
Interesting.
just
Smart.
folded up. So it was just they pull it like
Oh.
someone's like, man, I wish I had a whiteboard to draw on. They just went whoosh. They just like whipped it out of their pocket, and I'm like, that's amazing.
Very smart. Completely agree. Because you don't know, even if, say, for our Dungeons and Dragons games, we have a table that's mounted with a TV under it.
Right.
And it is so useful for the GM to put in visual aids and maps, and you can change things on the fly, but you still sometimes just want to draw stuff because it's
Yeah.
faster. Like
Yeah.
you're in a chasm.
Because if
Boop,
you
boop,
come
line
upon a situation that you haven't like pre-made a map for, then you can't use the TV.
Especially when you have players like us.
Like I set for us to be in this other area, and they went to this area instead.
All of
Looks
the
like we gotta
prepared
make a
content
map.
is east. Oh, I thought you said west.
But so what else can you bring to the table for your players to try to get them excited? Something I mentioned was what? Oh yeah, snacks.
Well, yeah, there's snacks.
But that's not related.
I was
Okay.
thinking the same thing, Jimmy. We
Well,
were
it's like,
on the
what
same
are-
wavelength there.
So I mean, we have experience like what's in our game room. Our DM is a bit of a tabletop hoarder. Okay, so we have miniatures
I can't say anything.
of everything.
Right.
Which is super useful, but not needed, but very nice.
Not needed, but useful. That way you can like put it. All right, so this guy's over here and he's over here, and then boom, like boom. I'm pretty sure there's terrain in that room too. Here's a wall.
yeah.
Yep.
Can you see him? No. All right, you can't shoot him. Next question. Move along.
I've got this brand new character. Cool. There's probably a miniature over on that table
Go
that
pick one
looks
up.
like him.
Yep.
Yep.
Although I'm excited to play whenever I finally get a chance to play D&D again, because I painted my mini.
Yay.
Like I bought a tiefling.
Well, and
It-
even that, something as small as either like what's a character, a D&D character, like $5 for a mini now?
Something like that.
You don't have to buy all your players' minis. But if you want them to have immediate buy-in and like care about their character,
Yeah.
if you bought them a mini and let them paint it, they're going to bond with it. And then when you kill it, it's going to hurt them so much. So it's not a terrible idea to like get them that little bit of buy-in.
Or I would go and caveat with that, just in case money-wise, have instructing your players to find a picture online that represents their character. Because that also creates a connection. They're not just numbers on a sheet. They've associated somewhat with some sort of idea, and you get an idea of what this character looks like.
Totally agree.
Or even a mood board, not just
Oh,
one picture.
I love a mood
Put
board.
together a mood board.
Of course, you would say a mood
You could
board.
have a session
That's-
0.5 where you either
Everyone makes
you
a mood
paint
board.
characters or you present to each other your mood boards or a PowerPoint presentation.
Or I mean, if you really want to go out, you can use what's it called? Hero
Forge.
Hero Forge, where you can design your character and then download it and
Not a
3D
sponsor.
print it.
But sponsor us. Cool.
Yeah. But you could also use it and just screen grab it and be like, this is what my character looks like.
Yes.
Yep.
And on physical items, I think it's also really fun if the GM sort of has a couple props. Like I've always liked if you have a letter that's delivered to someone, maybe like burn the edges of some paper and make a pretty note and then like stamp it with the king's seal and give it to someone. You don't have to, but then they have a physical item to hold on
Yep.
to. I don't know. I like those kinds of things.
Okay, so along the lines of physical items, I got to ask. There was a series of games where I brought the adventure sense.
Yes.
How did that help or hurt how was that? I wasn't running that game.
I liked them. I don't think they added that
I don't think
much.
they pervaded so much.
Yeah.
Well, I don't-
We would have needed
the candles
like
or
an oil diffuser
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
That being said,
But
when-
even the idea is not even, you don't necessarily have to have it permeate the room, but just to smell it to kind of get your brain.
I think so.
I liked the deep dank. I feel like that one. I
Dank
was
dungeon.
like, okay, we are in a gross place.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, we know scents they trigger memory like
Yeah.
the strongest, right?
100%.
And along those lines, you know me, I love a soundscape.
Yes.
And they're not a sponsor, so I won't name them. But I like playing around in one program that has a whole bunch of...
Sirenscape.
Yep.
Yeah, it's your podcast.
Okay.
Give us money.
Sirenscape. I love them.
Kidding.
Because they're Australian. And I like that accent. And yeah.
Jimmy loves making soundscapes.
I should make
have
a
a whole
note.
bunch of
Contact
sounds.
Sirenscape about
Yeah.
sponsorship.
Their Ravenloft, the soundscape you made for Ravenloft was a lot of like crows and
Yeah.
Oh, is this for
rain.
your
Yeah, Curse of Strahd.
Strahd game?
So I basically just have a thing playing in the background that's just sort of like some howling wind, but like very softly, and then every once in a while a crow caws. And
Sometimes
then,
people cry.
Yeah.
Jimmy needs to GM more games for us, is what I'm
Right?
hearing.
The issue is when Jimmy GMs a game, it takes him so long to put stuff together that I don't have a husband, a fiance.
Yeah.
So I'll do counterpoint to all this.
Counterpoint.
Do not over prepare
Yes.
because then
Ah.
you will definitely not have a session 2 if you put so much energy that you're burnt out by the time.
Yeah.
So I will admit is a balance.
So we've talked about smells. We've talked about
Physical objects.
physical objects. Taste, if you want snacks. I feel like themed snacks, not a terrible idea.
Or like
Themed snacks, okay.
we did. This is an idea we did with the L5R card game, but you could easily do it if you're playing the game having tea.
Oh.
Because like tea is a very
Yeah.
the Japanese style in which L5R is presented, you know, the kind of like tea ceremonies and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And if you're playing Star Wars, someone gets some blue food coloring and get some blue milk.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
That's because we
Yep.
had that over at Randy's.
Yep.
When we ran that when he ran that game for us, and it was
Yep.
like we had Death Star shaped waffles.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
good.
and blue milk and cookies.
Yeah,
I
he,
love
he
that.
really did like theme that well.
And didn't they make a Chewy
Wait.
Chewbacca
Yeah.
cake?
Randy
I don't remember.
themed a Star Wars
Yeah.
event really well.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm utterly shocked. Get it?
Yeah, because
Yes,
it's blue milk.
'cause blue
Yes.
milk. That was
You're
good.
welcome.
Round of applause.
You said round.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So taste, smell.
What about
Hearing.
on your side of the? You've talked about for players. What about on your side of the GM screen?
So on my side of the GM screen, I always like
do
to
you
have.
need a GM screen?
I love a GM screen. Because, okay, so why to have a GM screen? One, this might not be popular with some people, but flubbing rolls occasionally makes things more interesting. And for a narrative sense, like, I don't know. If you need that to happen, you can do it behind a GM screen.
Doing it behind a GM screen is great because so Corey's running a game and I do something and Corey like it completely messes up everything she wanted to do, but she loves it. So she's just like doesn't even look at the all right, that worked. Go ahead, let's do this.
Let's go. Yeah. Or like sometimes you need to hide minis or something behind your thing and then throw it at people. Or
Prep things.
yeah, and I like to have
Or having an initiative order.
that's yeah.
Yep.
Also, just having all your rules set up like boop boop boop.
And that's a good one for the makers of the GM screens.
Yep.
Because you've got your D&D screens, you've got your FFG Star Wars screens. I'm sure Genesis is coming out with them.
They are.
Wormwood has
We
things
talked about
where
it
you
last-
Can, like
You can like make your own. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, but that's if you have like $200 for a GM screen.
yeah,
one-
but that's
those are
if you're
nice
trying,
GM
if you're
screens,
trying
that's
to
what
get
they
a
are.
nice birthday present. I don't
yeah.
know.
And then you have the Table Titans GM
That's
screen.
Chris's.
It is Chris's. Okay, but you use it a
He
lot.
who shall not
Yeah.
be named.
So, what do you do? Okay, because I'm thinking all sorts of budgets here. What if I don't have a GM screen?
Oh,
what
you-
can I do to make one?
Just put some stuff in front of you. I
Just
feel
get
like
like a normal folder.
Yep.
and kinda
I've
prop
used
it up.
like
A
the
six-ring
books
binder.
before. Like
Yep.
if I have source books for said game,
Yeah.
I've put them together to make a GM screen. Like books I'm not going to pick up and reference, but it just gives me a screen.
Yeah.
or even if you just had your computer up and then like
Did stuff behind it.
yeah, and maybe like one other notebook or something
Blocker.
to block your
Or
way.
a side table for you to be able to do all your stuff
Yep.
on.
Right. Yep.
You're essentially just looking for something to be able to like look up rules and roll behind.
Or just like a cereal box. Just put it there.
someone brings
And then
snacks
in the
in a
middle of the
box.
game, you have a snack
Oh,
from the
heck
cereal
yes.
box.
And
So-
when you reach the bottom, it's game over. It's like 10 candles, but the cereal box.
Oh, there we go. That's
when
awesome. I
you
love
get
it.
to the bottom, everyone dies.
So behind your GM screen,
Uh-huh.
what kind of things do you want? Like I always like
Dice.
dice. I always like to have just a list of NPC names and then maybe like
Oh, that's a
interesting
good
quirks to give them. So like this person has a Cockney accent. This person has a very low cut vest and he looks like Fabio. Like just things to make them memorable.
Or you end up like me and you have like characters named Bob and Tim because it's the first thing you think
Came
of.
in your head.
Yeah, I feel like I find myself not needing rules reference as much as I do like story reference. So I like your idea of NPC names and maybe like stats for the enemies they're going to face like that session.
So you can pull that up quick.
I also do like rules for conditions. I guess that's a D&D thing.
Yeah.
Conditions
But-
is a
Yeah, because you often forget like what's the difference between incapacitated and like
Dazed.
charmed or dazed
Yeah.
or stunned. So yeah,
It's
Neat
also-
little niche rules.
yeah.
good.
I'm trying to generalize to
Yeah.
Or,
other
or
games.
like damage for improvised or like falling or
Yeah.
How
all
big
that
is a
stuff.
bag of holding?
Yeah.
Little things that you're gonna forget.
Also, literally, you can go online for whatever game and type such and such game GM screen, and
Yep.
they will have player aids already
Yeah.
made that has a lot of this information on it.
Yeah.
You-
And you mentioned like initiative order, so it's good to have like those little initiative flags that you can.
Technically, I mentioned that,
Yep.
but you're
Oh,
welcome.
well, okay. Well,
Or even just like Chris does, where he who shall not be named, take an index card and
I
fold it
didn't
in
say
half.
that, by the way.
No, I
she was
did.
the one that came
Yeah,
up with it.
I'm just making
Well,
jokes
she's the
'cause
king.
he's
She can
not
do whatever
here.
she
That's
wants.
true.
Yeah, you just fold an index card in half, put the name on it, and then you can move those around on top of your screen to know who goes next. That being said, we don't do a lot of like strict initiative order. We do slots.
Well, it's because of Star Wars and Genesis. Like,
Well, the whiteboard is our initiative tracker.
Yep.
yeah, we fell in love with the Star Wars initiative order.
Yeah.
Of all right, good guy goes, bad guy goes, good guy goes, bad guy goes,
Yep.
good guy, good guy. So
You can make plans a little bit
we
better.
incorporated that into D&D as well.
Which can be rough in D&D because there's a lot of things that people take to give them higher initiative order, but
Yeah.
like none of us mind, I don't think. I've
There's
never
also,
come across it.
Like, I know certain people, they have abilities that say like you do more damage if you go first or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
That are
So
meant
that
to
was
be-
so that was like, well, and then it was just Chris's character got the first player slot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, so Chris is going to pop out of the shadows, shoot someone, do like, okay, we need more D6s over here, please,
Yeah.
thank you, do all that damage, and then Chris goes and hides and doesn't do
Yeah.
anything for
Yep.
like the rest of combat.
I'm now a bush.
Ninja dust. Ninja dust.
So let's see. Also behind your screen. Oh, you might want like just a brief outline of the things you want to accomplish in this game. And it might not happen, but it could be like,
Right.
this is where I want them to be at the beginning, the middle, and the end. And
Blank paper.
Oh,
Blank
so
paper.
much blank paper.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's-
even I've gotten to a point where I do a lot of notes on the computer,
Mm-hmm.
but I still just having blank paper where I can write like hit points for all the different
Yep.
creatures or what the initiative order status is if I don't have.
Yep.
If I'm playing at a con game, I'm going to write down. Plus, like if I'm at a con game, granted you're not going to have a session 2 for that. I'll write down character. Like we do this on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
But writing down character name and player name.
Yeah.
So that you can better that associative of keeping people in character and like referring to people by their character names and versus saying, well, Corey did X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
No, Ianosa did. Well, that's your character, right?
Yeah.
I'm Daba.
Daba, right.
In our
Daba.
new D&D game. But on character stuff, every time that I've run a long playing game, I get a sticky note for every character every session. So I could be like, Phil's character, Fuzzy, this game decided to rip apart a spaceship. Or he decided to...
hey, I put it back together.
Yeah, mostly. And so it's good to remember just a couple different facts of what they've done over the course of the game.
Did they
so
rip
that-
up one of the landing gears so that the thing slid
So
off
it
the
slid off
mountain?
the- no, so by the time I put it together, it still qualified as a ship to fly in space. Just put it that way.
Yes. But so it's just good to keep an eye on like what everyone's doing. And then at the end of every session, I would write down like, this is what everyone's done into one page. And then you can sort of have a through line so that if you need, especially in the Star Wars game we were playing, it worked on debt. And so if you needed to create like a debt that someone needed to pay off later, it was good to have their background history. And just cute little things. I also had to write down all the gross bug names for all of the...
for all Chris's
Wookiee
Yeah.
medicine.
Wookiee medicine. Yeah, that was kind of fun.
And Scraps to write down all the Berger and Phils and
Yes.
Hills. And
That's right.
So
that was part of the thing. I was like, I need a Bergeron in this story.
I need to think of one.
All right. Any other ideas for? We've kind of hit around the table.
Also behind your GM screen, I find when I'm GMing, I have a good time if you have multiple NPCs, if you bring a couple different prop outfits. So like bring a hat or bring a pipe or bring an eye patch. And then when you're playing that character, you can throw that on just to help differentiate who's who.
Our Bluebeard's Bride GM used the shawl to great effect.
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree with that.
Cool. And
Along those lines, like, depending on what mood for the game you agreed on in session 0, it's just like, bring that mood.
yeah, how we set up that room to bring that mood.
And
Low
just
lights.
in your demeanor as
like
well.
what that game we play, Dread,
Dread.
no lights.
Wait, did we play Dread?
You mean
Yeah,
10
with
candles?
10 Candles?
No, we
okay.
played with Mike.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
on a spaceship.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a
Spaceship.
oh, funny voices for the NPC, says Jason, and I agree.
Mhm.
That also helps differentiate things. Chris has been workshopping his old man voice.
Back in my day.
And
I always like when old people cough a little more when you're like, yeah.
We ran our first edition D&D games at the Denny's.
Waffles.
Oh yeah, so Ember Silica's in the chat, who on our on-said YouTube channel that I was talking about before. They won the special edition version of Ghosts of Salt Marsh.
Congrats!
Congratulations. You win.
Owning
Yeah.
stuff is fun.
Yeah, because they gave me the best ideas for when I was doing interviews at Gen Con.
Oh, yeah.
That rocks.
I casually mentioned it in there, and then I was like, oh yeah, I need to give this away.
Heck yeah. Good. Get some stuff out of Chris's
And
gaming
that's
shelves.
the Boards and Swords YouTube.
Yep.
That produces content every
Yep.
Monday, Wednesday,
Monday,
Friday.
Wednesday, Friday.
No.
I got
Monday,
it wrong again.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Ah.
and Friday.
Oh,
Yeah, see, we just haven't plugged it enough. All right.
No. So
Speaking-
setting a mood for a room.
Yep.
Mhm.
What? How can one do
Sirenscape.
that? No. I mean, like, well, besides that, what do you do in your room to try to make it fit the theme? You're
You
playing
can have
a
one of those
Phoenix
little,
Dawn
little
command.
fan things
Oh,
that
yeah.
has the tissue paper, like
Oh,
a fire,
fire. Yeah, that.
or just real fire.
Yes.
I don't know. It's your house.
But say you're playing a Phoenix Dawn command game. What would you do to the room to make it more Phoenix Dawn
Oh,
command?
boy. Well, yeah, I would definitely have some candles, definitely,
Because
they
it's a
use candles
Phoenix
in that
game.
game as a communication system, if you remember,
And a means of traveling.
That's right.
and a means of traveling.
So you would need a bigger table with like a fire pit right in the middle.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can even play it outside.
Around a
Oh, there
fire
you go.
pit. That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
And then you could roast marshmallows.
And then we'd have to remind people not to walk into the fire.
You
Yeah,
could also.
But if I die, I level up.
Yeah.
Phil, we're playing a Stargate game. What do you do to make the room more Stargatey?
So
Seal off the room.
Yeah, you need to seal off
leave.
the room.
It needs a giant like vault door that's like, and then like
Ah.
klaxons blaring.
What does the embarkation room have on the door? Isn't it like level C28 or something?
Yeah, something
That's
like
fun.
Yeah.
that.
Once
It's
you walk
called
into
a
the
blast door.
It's a
I
is
did
such
like
a good episode.
when you GM'd our Stargate game and we had our like briefing, you were very much pretending to be like a army sergeant. I don't know, whoever's in charge.
when Mike was GMing.
Oh, was he
I was about to
GMing
say,
that
you
game?
GM that game?
Mike ran the Stargate game, and I was
But
the
you ran the
commander of the
briefing.
team. Yep.
And it was really good because you were in character and you were telling us what to do, and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yep.
Did you tell him good luck and Godspeed?
I did not.
next time.
Oh, because you were going.
because I was going with them.
Gotcha.
Yes. However, Corey was playing a civilian who we basically
Coerced.
drafted into the team. So, yeah, you're gonna come with us. What? And then she like bedazzled her uniform. I was like, "What the hell is your Yeah.
You gotta bring a little dazzle.
Okay, that's great. We're trying to go in stealthy, and you stick out like a disco ball.
Chris, you're playing a Batman game.
Like a Batman game.
Ooh.
What do you bring to the room?
I'm dressing as Batman.
Actual bats.
You're gonna treat yourself and get a actual Batman costume.
You're making a big assumption there.
That you don't already own a Batman costume. I'm just imagining Parks and Rec where Ben's sitting in a mall crying in a Batman costume.
Well, see now this just goes complete tangent. So this Batman costume that you may or may not already have, are we Adam West, or are we more like newer Michael Keaton, George Clooney?
Does everyone have
It's a
nipples
Christian. It's a
in the
Christian
room?
Bale.
It's a Christian Bale.
Christian
Okay,
Bale.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And it's really like I was a college kid when I made it, so it's really just like a black turtleneck and a cape and
Oh my
a
gosh.
mask, and that's it.
Can I see it?
I can show you pictures. There's pictures of it.
Can you put the pictures on the Patreon?
Probably.
Yes.
If we get
But
5
so-
more Patreon subscribers,
So Chris, what are you going to bring to a Batman room
What am I gonna bring?
to make the
spotlight?
Oh, a spotlight.
Oh.
Like some sort of
Oh.
like, or like get like a light that's got like a an adjustable, like one of the, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of like the bendy lights, and then cut out a little bat signal to
Yeah.
tape
So
he's
over
gonna
it.
make a bat
That's
signal.
so
Yeah.
fun.
Yep. And then maybe like Batman shaped cookies.
And
Or Batarang shaped cookies.
what about
And then
an
when
actual
people
bat?
do good things, you throw the cookies at them.
I wasn't before, but sure.
I wasn't thinking of food elements.
Okay, so what would you bring for Phoenix,
Phoenix
Command?
shots of fireball.
Like every time,
when you die, you have to take a
or
shot.
when you walk into the fire to be transported,
Yeah.
teleported,
Yeah.
you have to take Fireball because that's gross.
I never want to drink fireball again.
Never again, not even once. Phil does not agree with us.
Oh, it's
I don't like
It's just like,
alcohol.
what do you got against red things?
right.
I
right?
just want champagne. That's it. Only-
Pure champagne, actual
No,
champagne,
with-
or
No,
sparkling
mimosas.
wine.
with mimosas.
Nice.
Yes, that is
Iron
my
the Night.
favorite thing. Chris, 14 years ago.
Something like that.
Nice. Wow. Noise,
Halloween
noise, noise.
2005.
Yeah. So there you go.
Please quiet down. I'm trying to study.
You without a beard is adorable.
I'll report you to the RA.
You mean this? You mean this?
Oh God!
By the way,
don't
it
do
was-
it! Don't
it
do it!
Oh man.
That lets you see the quality of the costume. Is that the cape is just a vampire cape?
So if I were to run like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer game, I would make everyone bring pictures of themselves in high school so that they can all think of just how awkward they were.
We could all wear like 90s or early 2000s clothes.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of camisoles,
Yeah, just make
lot
a
of,
wardrobe requirement.
midriffs.
So many midriffs, so many long skirts.
Yep.
Dude, fashion's about the same. No, it's
think I-
oversized a little bit.
A lot
It
of
was oversized. Lots of Jenko jeans.
a
Oh
lot of
my
Jinko
gosh.
jeans,
Yeah.
a lot of sunglasses that are poorly fitted to your face.
Oh, and so small.
so small.
Yep. I agree, Jason.
Actually, I was never into that.
I loved high school. High school was great, but I do think I dressed like a very interesting woman.
I had a lot of like those weird, funny shirts.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was in at the time. Like shirts from Hot Topic or Kohl's that said funny quips.
Well, they were from Walmart, but whatever.
Same. Yep.
Same genre.
Yeah.
Like one was like a welcome to the cafeteria today, mystery meat, and had like a tray or whatever, and like totally good for you with like an asterisk next to it. May not actually be good for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like eggs. Are they good for you or are they bad for you? We
Exactly.
don't know.
Yeah, Hot Topic. I agree, Jason. I wore trip pants and they were not great looking on my body. And I only dyed the front 2 sections of my hair pink.
That was the thing.
Oh, yeah. But it was great because I had very intense acne.
Are we completely
Right.
tangenting here?
Nope,
'Cause
nope. We're
I have
We're
my
going
high
on the
school
Buffy the Vampire
scrapbook
Slayer game.
that I made.
This is ideas for running a game that's is based on a show that
If we
was
want to go see
90s.
how deep the
how deep the rabbit hole
how
goes.
deep the rabbit hole goes.
Jason is in
Jason wants to see these pictures. We'll put them on Patreon.
Patreon.
That's right.
No.
Tell your friends.
I don't know.
Tell your friends we need more Patreon subscribers,
this'll be
and
the
then we'll
next-
embarrass
They're
ourselves.
from when I was under 18, so I don't think I can put those out there.
Uh-oh.
Maybe the next vlog.
There are some of them. There are some of those out there.
Why did I get a keyboard all of a sudden?
Because you touched something.
I didn't touch anything.
Probably because the other keyboard disconnected or something.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so other questions.
I think this is that's a lot of good information.
Cool. The only other thing I had in my notes, and we don't have to talk about it. If we
Go
don't
for
want to. I was saying that maybe do something exciting at the end, either like make a really big keystone battle where there's a cliffhanger, or like give your characters some puzzle that they have to solve and bring in the answer next time. Like think of it as a TV episode where you want a cliffhanger to bring
Don't
back.
let them level up during the session so that they are wanting to bring their new powered up characters.
Yeah.
There we go. I was gonna, yeah, because you were talking about homework. I'm like, how well does that work in our group?
Well, yeah.
No, we just do it the next session.
The next-
Yeah,
right
we do
before.
it right
Yeah.
as we're eating dinner before session starts.
Yeah.
We're like,
And
oh,
we're like,
I got to level up. Hang on,
Hey
I
guys,
gotta level up.
I know the game starts in an hour. How much XP do we got last time? I'm asking for a friend.
Corey, we're all in the same room.
How much
Shut up.
How much XP did we get? Wrong answers only.
You don't know them. They didn't go here. Anyway,
Instructions unclear. Dick sucking in character sheet.
oh no.
And then I look down to see Jason saying that it has to have a high climax.
Oh, God.
That was the wrong follow-up that question.
My first thought was that you make your character sheets on your computer.
Yeah.
So, I just cried a little bit. My contact.
And I was
came
gonna
out.
say, like, your contact just popped out, didn't
Yep,
it? That's
totally did.
That's
There you go.
is that
Drive home.
achievement unlocked?
what, achievement unlocked. Cry to contact
Cried
out.
a contact out. It'll be fine.
And Corey of all people.
What?
I don't.
I don't
What?
get that one.
Never mind.
Okay.
Crying? Is it because I don't cry?
No, I just meant like something so inappropriate that you
Oh
cried.
yeah, that's true. I am an
And I said
inappropriate human.
Corey of all people.
Yeah, that's very
Usually
true.
you're the one saying the thing.
That is, yes. I'm sorry, world. Work on my filter.
So yeah, Patreon.
Yeah.
You should go to patreon.com/boards and swords to support the show. We got levels at $1, $5, and other stuff, but I really just want people to do $1. I don't really care. I'm not trying to like make money, but I just want
The secret content.
the secret content
It's the thought
and
that counts.
and the thought that counts. And I think we make enough that's worth $1 a month.
Yeah.
But if you think so too, which I think I haven't done extra episodes yet, and I think I'm just gonna throw together another Boards and Swords main show outtakes.
Outtake reel.
We've done outtakes for this all the time.
Yes.
We don't do a lot of outtake reels for the main show, and I have tons of stuff still that we
Is
can.
that because you're perfect on the main show?
Hmm?
Colin and Cindy are just
No, it's just
No,
that
Colin just edits everything out.
Colin edits everything out. But before I gave Colin editing permission. It's also the fact that I don't need filler like I do here. And the fact that the show is bi-weekly versus this show when it's at its peak is weekly.
right.
So filler is, a very important piece.
Right.
I just did the math for what the hourly wage is for making $1 a month.
A penny.
Very low.
Ooh,
Less.
it's low.
It's a fraction of a penny, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, so now it's time to come to like probably one of our favorite bits on the show,
Hot
and that's
seat.
the hot seat.
Bam,
And this-
bam, bam.
That's right. Jimmy's job is to do the transitions here.
And it's never consistent.
Yep. That's fine though. It's fine.
It's consistent in that it's never
So
consistent.
some of these questions I pulled randomly off of various places. Some of them actually I got from our fellow Punchboard Media
Ooh.
hosts. I threw it in the Slack there, and they gave me a couple of good things. First of all, first question we have, and these
No.
are just in case you've never listened to the show. Hot seat is just quick fire, top of your head kind of answer questions. First question is, what is your quest?
My quest is to leave the world better than I found it and eat as many tacos as possible.
Quest.
Mine is to make sure that the Gen Con episode comes out tomorrow, because that's been on my to-do list for a while.
Yeah. I have to wake up early. We have an early brief.
If Philip,
my
what's your
quest.
what's your quest?
My quest is more quests.
Okay.
Okay.
You can't wish for more quests.
It's against the rules.
Where? Show me where it's written down.
Just quickly writes it
That
down.
reminds-
Quickly
That-
writes on hand.
I'm sorry, tangent.
Yeah.
That reminds me of there's the video that's going on Facebook. I think it's a College Humor video. It's
Aw.
the other team and all of like the Disney sport or your kids' sports videos. That's like, I can't believe we're getting beaten by a dog, and it's like, well, coach, it doesn't say. I know it doesn't say that a dog can't play football.
Yeah, that
All right,
one.
So
Jason wants to get all his kids into college and
LOL.
live forever.
those are his
Aw.
2 quests
Good
off the top of his head.
quests.
That's
Don't do like blood for the blood throne to live forever though, because
Yeah.
that's a rough life.
Yeah. No.
or wishes from genies because those always have like a catch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your kids will get into college, but then fail if you do it with a wish with a genie. Don't do it with a genie.
I saw a Doctor Who
right.
episode, one of the old ones, where they gave out immortality, but it was basically you become a piece on a statue, and that was you living forever.
Oh, which it's not wrong.
Yeah,
You got to be specific.
yeah. All right, next one. What RPG have you bought a ton of stuff for but hardly ever played?
None, because I only buy things when I know I'm going to use them.
Well, I mean, I bought Phoenix Dawn Command, and the only time I've ever played it is on here. So I didn't necessarily buy a ton of stuff for it.
I've bought a lot of the Star Wars RPGs books, and I don't play them really. I don't. Y'all play the game,
Yeah,
but I like having them.
and the art's nice.
Yeah, that too.
I bought the Star Trek RPG, and then I bought that one RPG from those British people at the booth at Gen Con.
Okay, so
2
maybe
years
it
ago.
was a question more for me. All right. This,
Yeah.
You know, if that other Chris was here, that would probably be
Yeah.
a better question. Okay, you can only have 3 pizza toppings for the rest of your life.
Okay.
You don't have to have them all at the same time, and basic sauce and cheese are freebies. What are they?
Extra cheese, and banana peppers. I like one kind of pizza.
Now, if it's a non-standard sauce, does that count?
No,
Like
I'll
if it's
say
not, if it's not tomato sauce.
What's that? It specifically says basic sauce and cheese are freebies. So I'm
Okay.
gonna say if you deviate from
Alright,
that,
yeah.
that's one of them.
All
Can
right,
I guess
so-
what yours is?
Yep.
It's feta cheese, white sauce, and spinach.
You got it.
That was
Although if I
like,
can only have 3, I
that
don't know. The
was-
spinach doesn't add much,
is that
so I might go with like.
was that one of those like disgustingly cute couple moments? Like, oh, she knows
Ah,
his
it's
pizza.
pizza.
order.
It's a
Yeah.
pizza. That's
I
we
don't-
have too much
It's
cholesterol in
not
our blood.
cute.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that we order pizza.
But I appreciate you thinking
and
we're
we get the
cute.
same thing
Gotcha.
every time.
I'm probably gonna go with. I'm gonna go plain, or actually, I'm gonna go controversial a little bit.
Plain, and plain.
Nope.
Pineapple?
I'm gonna go pineapple. I'm gonna go pepperoni
Hell yeah.
and sausage.
Cut your
Yep.
damn microphone cord.
Look, if you don't agree that pineapple belongs on pizza, chill out.
You don't have to. This is my pizza,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
yours.
right.
So pepperoni, sausage, and ham in whichever form the company.
So either
whatever's
a
easiest.
pepperoni or a ham chunk.
Well,
or
he's talking
Yeah.
about like bacon sometimes.
well, no,
you could-
bacon's a completely separate item.
Oh, okay.
The,
like Canadian bacon, or
yes, because Papa John's, I think Papa John's calls theirs Canadian bacon.
Mm-hmm.
It's little like ham strips. Like it's like cubed ham, but like 4 cubes
what
stuck
you put in
together.
your bachelor chow.
Yeah.
For reference, Jason says Italian beef, pepperoni, and some vegetable.
I love
vegetable.
a some vegetable.
Some vegetable. That's very nondescript.
Right.
Oh, Richie.
Ooh, Richie says black olives. Ooh, with a pineapple and a
Wow.
pepperoni.
Getting
Hey,
that
you know what? I'm
salty.
down. I'm
What?
down for the
Oh.
pepperoni,
Well,
pineapple,
I
black
love
olives.
a pepperoni pineapple.
Was
Yeah.
that the Deadpool order? Olives and pineapple?
I don't know.
I think it was just pepperoni and black olives.
Because he said sweet and salty
Oh,
for his pizza.
so. Maybe,
baby.
or maybe it's Skittles and olives.
Okay.
Just
This one you could probably opt out of if you don't want to share. What's the funniest thing you think you've done to embarrass yourself?
I come on a show every week.
That's not
LOL.
funny.
You gotta think about that.
That's just
sentence.
embarrassing.
Leave.
It's not
It is
funny.
just embarrassing.
That I've done on purpose to embarrass myself.
Or just I guess the funniest way in which you've embarrassed yourself.
So
The funniest thing that you think you've done to embarrass yourself.
this wasn't funny for me, but the only show that my father ever came to when I was in college was a performance where I was doing a song from Legally Blonde where I had to fake an orgasm on stage. So that was great. And then also I couldn't find the key for that song because we switched to the key right before the performance. So I was off key having a fake orgasm and my dad was like 2 rows in front of me. So that was
So
not great.
does it count if it's only embarrassing yourself to one other person?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So, and it's not what you might think. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and get that out of there.
You don't know what I think,
I know where your brain
So
goes.
it doesn't involve cats.
No.
right?
Okay.
So, the first time I had to go on a work trip, it was the first time after I started dating Ashley, and she was not, it was like the first time we really had been separated and this was going to be like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And she was feeling really sad about it. And so, like, as a Mother's Day gift, she had gotten like an iPad. What I decided to do is I recorded a couple of videos of me lip syncing songs.
Oh.
And like, imagine how I would lip sync songs. That's pretty much how it went. And saved them onto her iPad with instructions that she only opened them like once every other day or so just to get a fill. So that's probably
really cute.
Yeah.
But I could understand why it'd also be embarrassing. Watching yourself back.
It was totes embarrassing.
Did she love it?
Oh yeah. It was a solid move there.
Oh, good move. Good move.
Still together. I mean,
Still together. Worked.
didn't scare her off.
Philip?
Huh? I don't know.
You're still going with coming on the show.
Pretty much.
All right. Chipotle or Moe's?
Moe's.
Moe's.
I'm
Cafe
just
Rio.
gonna go with. Well, yeah, I'll go with Cafe.
That
Rio.
was not the question.
I've never
understand.
been to Moe's and I hate Chipotle.
Okay,
I don't
so
like- I
you could
just
say not Chipotle.
So I will say that what Chipotle has over Cafe Rio is they have a like a tofu
The sofritas are not terrible.
vegetarian option, whereas Cafe Rio, it's just like more
It's pinto beans.
beans.
The
beans.
question was framed: you either have to go to Chipotle or Moe's.
Phil,
What?
you still got a Moe's connection?
I mean, they know me there.
So one day we could go to Moe's and then I'll give you a solid answer.
All right, fine.
Never had Moe's.
And the last question is the one I told you about earlier: cremation or closed casket?
cremation.
And throw my ashes in a tree and then grow a tree around my ashes.
Yeah, or just throw them anywhere. I mean,
Yeah. Or,
Ooh, make dice out of my ashes.
out of your bones.
Ooh.
I think I like the
mix
that's
my
cool.
mix
That's
my
cool.
ashes in with some resin.
Yeah.
I'd be
And then
into-
like give them.
Ooh.
They'll be like an heirloom that comes down.
And also glitter.
What are you, like a Ferengi now? Is this what's going on?
I like it.
In Ferengi culture, when they die, they quick freeze dry the body and powder it and sell it as a memento.
Aw.
Sell it.
So yeah, Chris is gonna be flash frozen and ground into a powder and then made into dice.
I wouldn't mind donating.
These are the exclusive Dirtbags of Holding Chris
Chris
Renshaw
dice.
dice.
Well,
How many
just say
dice?
at my current status, that's a lot of dice.
Side note, though, I read that like you can't be sure that those are just your ashes after you cremate someone. It's probably like your ashes and a few other people's ashes.
But it's
kinda
still
got mixed
probably
together.
largely
Swept out
your
in the-
ashes.
We're gonna go with like it's 80% you,
80% you.
20% just some stuff
Other
that might have got cut in the oven.
People in that town.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Another argument for scattering
village to raise
versus
a family.
burying under a tree.
Or
Right.
donating your body to a body farm
That's right.
so they can put your body in some weird.
Cadaver lab or something.
Well, it's like they'll put your body out in a field with weird temperature conditions to figure out what a body looks like if it's decaying in a natural way. So that for court cases,
for forensics.
Yep.
Yeah.
they'll like put you in a freezer and then check on you.
Almost the same.
Didn't know
'cause,
that
like,
was the thing.
Yep.
Because like med students operate on
Yeah.
cadavers. And, like,
Did you know that they like will write letters to the families on the last day? I didn't know that was a thing.
It was I learned that. So we have a couple of friends, Renshaw and I do, a couple of friends who actually despise the last season of the show Scrubs. They were like, yeah, no, that season never existed because
It
I
makes you
mean, it
feel
was like
feelings?
weird out of like the continuity of the show, and I think that season premiered like I don't know years after the
Gotcha.
show ended.
Yeah.
So, but it's a fictional show, yes, but there's a lot of stuff in fact, and these were med students, and they were like, yeah, so on the last day of like I don't know, whatever the cadaver section is. They like thanked the families and all that kind of stuff. So
I heard
nice.
somewhere that there's more factual medicine in Scrubs than there was in House.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Very believable because House is a lot of like very random, weird diagnoses.
Yeah.
And him like, I don't know, watching some kid spill soup in the cafeteria. It's got that disease.
He's got dropped soup disease.
Right? and it's never lupus.
Did you know
Wasn't
that
that always the recurring theme in House?
Did you know that Hugh Laurie has a folk album where he plays piano and
I'm
sings?
not-
I believe it.
I'm not
It's real good.
surprised.
It's very, very good. Anyway, weird fact of the day.
There you go.
Go check it out. Anything
Back
else?
in my day,
Back in my day.
you just fell off a cliff and that's where you died.
That's so unfortunate.
Where you passed out, that's just where they dug and buried you.
Buried him under a tree.
Under a tree.
Trees!
Okay.
Trees!
Favorite skit.
All right, that's all we got this week.
Bye, everyone.
So thank you all for showing up. Anybody
Thank
got any
you.
last words?
we should
Milkshake.
make like a sign out, like
That's my
a
last
thing.
word.
Well, last time we started doing the thing that what did we learn
Milkshakes?
here? What did we learn on this episode?
No, we already had
Oh.
ice cream.
I just meant like a phrase all of us say at the end, like Tabasco sauce.
As we say at the end of every episode,
Schmiggly bird, doober,
Schmiggly man.
Wow.
I like it's okay to be a dirtbag, but don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk bag. I hate that. I hate it already.
We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop. That's what we say at the end. We'll
Workshop
workshop it. Done. Bye.
Burning.